Hey folks, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with your NBA playoff preview and prediction on game number 2 of the Western Conference Finals between the LA Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. It is Tuesday, Ruby Tuesday, June 22nd. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your day. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right hand corner or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are watching on a mobile device. Today's podcast brought to you by bballpicks.com. Anybody can play, anybody can join. Head over to bballpicks.com, make one selection or two a day, and you want to follow the top scores each and every day, and that is Chris Fatty Kalaja at 791, Mark Nation GSL 21 at 787, and Laura D. Dansko is rounding up the top three scorers right now at 779 at bballpicks.com. All right, let's get to this one between the LA Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. Now, the Clippers winning game number 1 by 6 points was a 120-114 win over the LA Clippers. Now, both teams out without their stars. We all know Chris Paul is out and Kawhi Leonard is still in LA. Won't be available for this one. But you know what? The show must go on. And the bookmakers are telling us nothing has changed in the line. And the total here is at 224. If we look at last game, the line was, let me see here. Where's the 219 and -4. So the total did change by 5. So the bookmakers were off a bit in the last game, just by about 5 points if you compare it to this line. So what we want to do is take this line today, 4.5. It doesn't change. Now the bookmakers have bumped up the total to 224. So they're telling us they were really off that game. And if you look at my line on this game, I did have the Phoenix Suns at -5.96. But I also had the Clippers at 6.12, -6.12. So if you look at that from a value edge, the value does go to the Clippers. And the one thing I like to do in handicapping is when I look at teams, I look at their best players, right? And I go by the Urban Meyer rule, the 10-80-10 rule. I believe that 10% of the players in the league are the elite. 80% are very, it's the same type of player, the average Joe. And then you got your 10 that are disinterested. But looking at Devin Booker last game, had 40 points. Do I think he's going to score 40 points this game? I don't think so. To duplicate that much success in back-to-back games, very, very hard in the pros. And Paul George did a good job for the LA Clippers in the last game. But when I look at this number and I see the computer forecast here on 54 previous game in the database. Now, this computer pick is based on the average of previous games, 54, when Phoenix is a 4.5. I put a range into the computer and the total and the coming off situation, and it spits out the average. So we got 117.3 to 110.2. The over-under at 227.61. So that's where I got my total here tonight at 227.61. And if I were to play this game here tonight, I think I would lean more towards the over here tonight. But I do like the Clippers plus 4.5 because I think it's going to be a closer game than what the forecast here predicts. I do think it'll be about 117 to about 115 tonight. I think it's a 2-point margin in victory here. But the reason why I say that is because anytime Phoenix is at home this season against a team that has a winning percentage of 60% or higher in the standings, they're 11-1 straight up, 10-1-1 against the number, 8-4 to the over. So you can see just by those numbers, and if you're into analytics, and the thing, and I've done videos on this, regular season and playoff analytics, you got to take with a grain of salt, right? In playoff sports, we saw it last night in the NHL in Tampa Bay. It's all about momentum. It's all about your top players being your top players on that given night. And who's going to be the top players here tonight, right? If Marcus Morris is playing and his knee allows him to be healthy, he could be a huge factor here with his 3-point shooting, right? So looking at the stats here tonight, and here's another stat I don't want to go against. The Phoenix Suns at home this year on 1 day's rest, and they're 3.5 to 6-point home favorite, 6-0 straight up and against the number. And when I do look at some of the analytics on the total here, I do see some numbers pointing towards the over. In fact, any NBA home team this season that scored 100 or allowed any NBA road team, not home team, road team that allowed 120 points against in their last game, 18-8 to the over. And for the Phoenix Suns, when they're coming off a home win as a favorite this season, 13-6 to the over. So that tells me they're coming off a win as a favorite. They're on offense. They're really feeling it right now. The chemistry is there, And they're just, when you're an athlete and or you coach a team or you're playing for a team, and when you're in this scoring groove, it just, you're in sync, right? You're just in sync. And right now, both these teams, especially Phoenix, coming off a high scoring game of 120. I think the over is where you might want to lean here this evening. All right, there you have it. That's my preview and prediction on tonight's game between the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers. Just to recap, I do like the Suns to win by 2, but I do agree with the total here at 227.6. And so there you have it. Have yourself a great Ruby Tuesday for a Tuesday, June 22nd. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report. Cheers.